Dear students, in this lecture video, we studied about the continuation of methods of voltage control by reactive power injection. I already told in the previous slide, okay, that is the previous lecture video. The reactive power injection done by three ways. One is shunt capacitors and shunt reactors. Second one is series capacitors. Third one synchronous capacitors. In this lecture video, we studied the series capacitors and synchronous capacitors. That means used for reactive power injection to control the voltage. Students, series capacitors. The capacitors are connected in series with the line, that is series capacitors, the name. What is the main aim of this series capacitors connection is to reduce the inductive reactance between supply point and the load. This is the main aim of the series capacitors which are connected in series with the line. That means to reduce inductive reactance between supply point and the load. What are the major disadvantages of this type of reactive power injection method is the short circuit current, that is ISC, flows through the capacitor. So therefore the protective device like spark gaps and non-linear resistors are to be incorporated. That means we have to provide the spark gaps and non-linear resistors. That means to avoid, that means the short circuit current will flow through the capacitor. This is the major drawback or the demerits or the disadvantages of the series capacitors used for a reactive power injection to control the voltage. Now you see the circuit diagram. Okay, so the figure A represents the line with the series capacitor and load. The figure B represents the phasor diagram for the fixed, that means voltage of the that is the resistance VR. Okay, you see the student figure A, there is line with the series capacitor. The Vs is nothing but the sending end voltage, VR is nothing but the receiving end voltage, XL is the inductive reactance, XC is the capacitive reactance. The voltage drop across the inductive reactance XL is I into XL. Simple logic. The Ohm's law is equal to what? I into R, current multiplied by resistance. Here reactance. So therefore that means what? The voltage across the inductance, that is VXL, is nothing but what? I into XL. The voltage across the reactance X is equal to what? I into XC. Okay, same logic I am using. So the voltage drop across the inductive that means reactance XL, IXL. The voltage drop across capacitive reactance XC is IXC. Okay, the I is the current flowing through the transmission line. You already know XL is nothing but what? 2 pi FL. 2 pi FL. 2 pi F is nothing but the omega. So therefore XL is equal to omega L. Okay. Then XC equal to 1 divided by 2 pi FC. 2 pi F is omega. So therefore XC equal to 1 by omega C. So this is the line, transmission line with the series capacitor and that means load. Okay, this is the load only. Okay, now you see, so this is the, that means phasor diagram. The phasor diagram you can take the fixed, this is the VR. So the VR, the voltage drop across the resistance is fixed. That is the reference one. So therefore, then in this case, that means the current I lags behind VR by an angle pi. Okay, then the VC, that is the voltage drop across the, that is the capacitors, that is the series capacitor is VC. The VC, that means that is the lags behind the voltage VR and leads behind the current I only. Okay, and then this drop is nothing but I into XL, I into XL minus XC. This is the VS is nothing but the sending end voltage, that means with series capacitor only. So and then this is nothing but the receiving end voltage, sending end voltage without capacitor, that is equal to Vs equal to I into Xc. So this is the direction of the omega. Okay, omega. This is the phasor diagram. Once again I repeat the student, the VR, the voltage across the resistance, is taken as the reference vector. The current I lags behind the voltage VR by an angle pi, that is lagging power factor in use. Then the voltage across the capacitor VC, that means lags behind the voltage VR but leads the current I, okay, by some angle, okay. Then the Vs is the sending end voltage with the capacitor. This is nothing but I into XL minus XC. Therefore, the Vs equal to Vs with the capacitor equal to I into, that means XL minus XC. Okay, and then sending end voltage Vs without capacitor means that Vs is equal to I into Xc only. Only we are considering the capacitive reactance only. Okay. Now see what is the merits between the shunt and series capacitors. That means we can compare shunt capacitor and series capacitor. If the load volt ampere reactive requirement is small, okay, then the series capacitor only is helpful for injecting the reactive power. And then suppose the voltage drop is limiting the factor, means that is the series capacitor only is very effective compared to shunt capacitors, because to some extent the voltage fluctuation can be evened. For that purpose, if the voltage drop is limiting the factor, means we can use the series capacitor, which is more effective. Then if the total line reactance is high, means the series capacitors only is very effective and the stability is improved. Okay, you already know the capacitors. For example, the capacitors are connected in series. This is C1, this is C2, means then the equivalent is nothing but 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. So the capacitive value reduces. Okay, so therefore that means the stability improved and then the total line reactance also high. Reactance is high. But the both capacitors are connected in parallel, means if the capacitors are connected in parallel, means this is C1, this is C2, means C1 plus C2, the capacitive value increases. Because that is the reactance, capacitive reactance Xc is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi Fc, 2 by Fc. If the capacitance increases, the reactance is decreases. That's why the capacitors not connected in parallel. If here, that means that both capacitors are connected in series, the equivalent capacitor 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. So therefore the C decreases. So therefore the capacitive reactance Xc, that means increases. So therefore the total line reactance is high only. So that's why the series capacitors only very effective compared to shunt capacitors. Okay, the series capacitors, with the series capacitors the reduction in the line current is small. Suppose if the thermal consideration limit the current, the little advantages is the shunt compensation is to be used. So these are the advantages of the series capacitor over the shunt capacitors. So up to this we studied about the series capacitors used and connected in series with the line. Okay, then how to inject the reactive power and then how to control the voltage and then what is the merits of a series capacitor compared with the shunt capacitor. Now we have to study the third type of reactive power injection method by using synchronous compensators. Okay, the synchronous compensator is nothing but the synchronous motor. Why mean the synchronous motor can be operated at any power factor, unity power factor, lagging power factor, leading power factor. That means normal excitation, under excitation and then over excitation. Okay, so the synchronous compensator is nothing but the synchronous motor running without a mechanical load, but is depending on the excitation level. Okay, so the synchronous compensator either absorb the reactive power or the generator the reactive power. Both cases we have to use the synchronous compensator. Already we studied in the what are the components used for production and that means absorption of the reactive power. This is the first content of the fourth module under voltage and reactive power control. We already studied in the lecture video 2. Okay, when used the voltage regulator, the synchronous compensator automatically run over excited. Okay, at the time of high loads and under excited at light load. That means if the load is light load, the synchronous compensator, that is nothing but synchronous motor, is operated under excited conditions only. So therefore, if that means a high load means that it over excited, that means the power factor improved. That means so therefore under high load the synchronous combinator operator under excited, that means over excited, and then synchronous combinator at light load operated at under excited conditions. Okay, the typical connections of the compensator we can shown in figure, later we see, and then the volt ampere and then voltage output characteristics also we'll see later. And then what is the advantages of this synchronous compensate method is it is a flexible operation for all the load condition, because that means light load, heavy load, moderate, any loaded condition, because the synchronous compensator can be act as a synchronous motor which operated at any power factor at any load condition. Okay, it is nothing but the rotating machine, but it stored energy. Okay, is useful for riding through the transient disturbances and including a voltage drop only. Okay, now you see the diagram. Okay, so here you see this is the typical installation with the synchronous compensator connected to, that means tertiary winding of the main transformer, that is the third winding. Okay, this is the 3 winding transformer. The delta connected is called as the tertiary winding of the main transformer. Okay, so this is 275 kV transmission line, that is the isolator switch. This is the circuit breaker. So this is the, that means AVR means automatic voltage regulator, which is used to regulate the voltage via VT means voltage transformer or potential transformer. This is the earthing transformer symbol. The voltage 415 volt power supply only. This is the 11 kV. Okay, the 275 kV stepped down line kV. So here we can connected the current transformer. Okay, in series we connected the synchronous compensator. Okay, seriously is connected. That means the primary is connected to the 11 kV transmission line of the CT, and then next the secondary of the CT connected to the automatic voltage regulator. Now you see the voltage VR output characteristics for 40 megavolt ampere reactive synchronous compensator. Okay, you see here this is the generate reactive power, that is right hand side. The left hand side arrow mark is nothing, the absorb the reactive power. This is the MVAR, that is Q, denoted by Q. Okay, and then volt ampere reactive, this is the voltage. So x axis you are taken volt ampere reactive, that is Q, and then y axis you can take the voltage in per unit value. Now you see the diagram. So this is the 0 value, this is plus 40, this is minus 20. Minus 20 means that is the absorb the reactive power. Plus 40 means generate the reactive power. You see the dotted lines. Okay, this is the 0, this is the straight line, that is the load. Here this is the 1.0, 1.05, 1.07. This is the per unit value of the voltage. You see, so here up to the you see you can take first this curve only. In this point, that means observe the reactive power. Here that means that is the power is 0. Again at this point it will generate the reactive power. Similarly, you can take these characteristics. Under this point observe the reactive power. This 1.05, that is the Q is equal to 0, that is KVR is equal to, that is MVR equal to 0, and then under this condition, that means what, it generate the reactive power. So you see this is 1, this is 1.05. what is the drops equal to how much? 5% drop. 5% drop or droop, both are same only. Okay, that means 5% droop means each generator, that means having, that means R is nothing but the droop current, that means droop speed regulation of the generator. So 5% droop. Okay, so this is the voltage versus reactive power output, that is MVAR, that is we are taking as a 40 MVAR, that's why minus 20 to 40. Student, from this lecture video, I hope you understood the how to inject the reactive power injection, okay, and then based on this how to control the voltage by using series capacitors and synchronous compensator. Thank you student for watching this video.